Hey, hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. I got my main man back with me. He kind of been on a sabbatical, but he's back. And I'm talking with no one other than, of course, Christopher Johnson. Christopher is a product of the PG County school system. Dang, I forgot the school already. Chris.
Gwen Park.
Gwen Park.
Yellow
All right,
Jackets.
Gwen Park. And Chris also has a band called the Cortland Experience, a rock band, and they're doing charity work all around the area here. Congratulations, man. You guys still rolling, huh?
Yeah, still rolling, trying to, rock out for a good cause.
Right. Chris, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
Well, we
it's
got,
been a minute.
got a lot on the plate, man. This is crazy,
Yes.
man. We talk about this sports scene here in the DMV, man. It's really crazy. Let's start with one of our favorite teams, the Washington Redskins. First of all, Cousins left. He got paid. I mean, he got paid handsomely,
Yeah, very
and
well.
went somewhere else. He got paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He really used the Redskins like they were supposed to be used.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the Redskins go out and get one of the top quarterbacks in the league in Alex Smith. And Alex Smith comes to town, and one of our favorite people, Doug Williams, supposed to be the vice president of player personnel. But Doug is left in the dark. Tell us about that scenario, Chris, and how you saw it.
How I saw it, it seems like they said after they reported that Doug wasn't aware of the move swung for Alex Smith, and it kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like the team they might have just got an offer real quick and wanted to jump on it as fast as possible. They saw that they could get Alex Smith. They saw the position they put themselves in with Kirk Cousins, and I just felt like the Redskins just never really believed in Cousins that much. Honestly, I don't think Jay Gruden liked him that much, and then they didn't want to pay him the money that he was, the market was offering him. So they saw an opportunity to get Alex Smith, but they might have jumped on it too quick. I think it was a good move, football-wise overall, but like it goes to the bigger dysfunction in the organization that certain people in the high-reaching positions don't know when huge decisions are being made.
Right. And it's evidently that Doug didn't have a clue because he got a call from Allen saying, "Hey, don't answer the phone until tomorrow." Yeah. And that's, of course, when the deal was coming through, and Doug was left in the dark. Then they got off to another bad start. This young kid, man, the running back, looked like he was gonna have a great year. The rookie, what's his name? Got hurt.
REDSKINS.
Yeah.
Very promising.
Yeah, very promising. And then who shows up but Adrian Peterson, playing some fantastic
running hard
football, running hard, man. I mean, he's running hard. But of course, we had a bad break with Alex going down. Really, that really killed their chances. But I've always had a lot of confidence in Colt. What's his name?
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. I always thought he was a great ball player, but he ain't got nobody to block for him.
Or throw to.
That
is the problem.
That is the problem.
Yeah, I like Colt too. Like Colt, he's one of the top backups. He's proven that he can come in and win big games. He's proven he's got a lot of heart. That he knows the offense. He'll run. He'll do whatever he's got to do. He'll sling that thing. Like he's not scared. But at the same time, Alex Smith had the same issue earlier this year. The Redskins just have terrible weapons. The wide receiver position, they don't really have a number one receiver. Their most productive receiver, Jamison Crowder's been hurt. Jordan Reed has still been iffy with his consistency. It doesn't seem like he has the same connection with Alex Smith that he had with Kirk Cousins.
Right.
So they seem like they've been struggling on those option routes and just not being on the same page.
Vernon Davis looked good. He made a couple of crucial drops, but he's still he's able to catch that ball.
Definitely. Him and Adrian Peterson. There's some people are just physical freaks that are built differently. They can play until their 30s and have their physical body in their late, in their prime.
Yeah. While we are on the Redskins, I'm going to kind of stay there. I want to go back to my man Doug Williams, who was a dear friend of mine. But it has to question some of the moves, man. Why is it that he didn't bring REID here? Why is it that he didn't bring Colin Kaepernick in for a trial? They brought this guy. What's the guy's name?
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez.
The butt fumble.
The butt fumble.
Yeah. As most people know.
I mean, what kind of move was that? REID was all pro, man, and we needed help in that defensive backfield.
Yeah, we traded for a safety, so we know we needed one because they gave up draft picks for Clinton Dix. So, and it's the same thing. We know we need a quarterback right now.
Right.
Signing Mark Sanchez is infuriating. And again, I wrote about it in my article. I think the Redskins are kind of overestimating the goodwill they have with their fans of my generation, because I wasn't alive for the glory days, or I was like 1 year old. I don't remember that. So like all I can remember is constant losing, last place, embarrassment, the players complaining about the FedEx Field being half empty. Well, people aren't going to keep paying for a product that's not good.
That's right.
They're going to keep paying and wasting their Sundays to go there to watch the Redskins be in last place and embarrass themselves like week after week. And it's just not. You're chastising people for not buying a bad product.
Right. And it's a shame that I saw Josh Norman out of one of the malls giving tickets away.
Yeah.
Giving tickets away, trying to get people to come.
It's been an issue since, like I said, my family's had season tickets, and it's been an issue for a long time because we've been in last place. So what are Redskins fans, season ticket holders going to do? They're going to sell their tickets to the fans of the other team that'll pay top dollar to go see their team come to town. So their home field advantage gets essentially neutralized at FedEx Field.
All right, this is Harold Bell for the Legends of Inside Sports, and I'm sitting here with my partner, my co-host, Christopher Johnson, and we're talking about the Redskins, man. The Redskins, they made another bad deal, and that deal was Reuben Foster, the linebacker, that just got cut from the San Francisco 49ers for domestic abuse, and it wasn't like this was his first offense. He's got his second
time with the same woman.
Wow.
Which is even more of that. Even if you say that she she said she made false accusations and all this, you don't put yourself, I think Shannon Sharp said this today, you don't put yourself in that same position. Again, if a woman accused you of beating her and she lied on you, you should not be involved with her anymore. Like that's you. That speaks to your decision making. There's no excuse for any of that. So the Redskins, again, further deflating their fan base, who are already upset, who already don't have a lot of faith in the team. And then they're just doing things like that. And Dan Snyder's supposed to be so against domestic violence, but I haven't heard a peep from him. He trotted out Doug Williams to explain why they're trying
all people to trot out to be your spokesman. Doug Williams is not the man. He's not the man. In fact, man, he has lost a lot of credibility all over the country. The women groups have come out, man, like you've never seen it before. And, you know, they come out so fast. Kansas City said, we're not going to make that same mistake. They fired Kareem Hunt right after practice.
Yeah, immediately. As soon as that tape came out, he was done, toast. They didn't wait for anything. I think, again, Kansas City is smarter. They saw the way that the media was treating the Redskins, rightfully so this week, bashing them for a terrible PR decision. And the Chiefs don't want that mess. They're a better run franchise, I would say. And they did what they should have done and just cut ties now. And they know in this day in the NFL, a running back is replaceable. I don't care how good you are. Like, they'll draft somebody next year. Or they'll bring in somebody. The backup will step up. And that's just how the NFL works these days. A
good example of that is Rice in Baltimore with the Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I felt it was a similar situation. I know how this works. I've worked with NFL teams and their heads of securities before. So, like, there's no way that either the team security or the NFL hadn't seen that tape or weren't aware of it. Somebody saw that tape.
Right.
But the only reason there are ramifications is because of the outcry, because it got out. And people saw it, and now people are mad. TMZ leaked it, and now they're trying to save face. So it's just indicative, the Reuben Foster, the Kareem Hunt, it's indicative of just a bigger problem of what the NFL is willing to tolerate. A peaceful protest, that guy can never play in the league again. Never. But you beat up your girlfriend 2-3 times.
And kick her.
Yeah, you kick somebody on tape, you do all that. And that's fine. You'll get another job, another team will pick you up. And it just shows how twisted the value system in the NFL is and how they will look the other way as long as people don't know how bad it is.
Right.
If people didn't see that Ray Rice tape, they wouldn't have done anything.
They wouldn't have done anything.
It wouldn't have done anything,
man. That is so sad, man, because one thing, man, when I think about Doug and the hole that he dug himself in,
it's a bad comment.
All he had to do is come out and say, well, look, we're going to let the process play out. If it shows that he's guilty, he's no longer a Redskin. If he gets off, maybe we'll give him a second chance. That's all he had to do is say and walk
Simple
away.
Enough.
Simple, man.
That's it. You could have took that transcript from your statement, and that's it. Keep it simple.
Well, Doug, I told you when you came to town, I was the man. I could keep you out, or you kicked me to the curb, so I wasn't able to advise you. But I wish you no ill will, my brother, but you got to understand where you are, man. This is their game. They make the rules the way they see fit. You know, you got to understand. I know a lot of people are comparing you to Bobby Mitchell. You know, the same type of guy that he was. He was nothing but a token. And now they're saying the same thing about you. And then now you don't put yourself in the spotlight, and it does not look good. Well, we can move on from here and go to another controversy that's going on with our Washington Wizards. What's happening with them, Chris?
Which controversy?
Yeah, where do you start?
With them,
Where do you start with these guys?
Yeah, I watched the game last night. They looked pretty hapless. They got destroyed by Philadelphia pretty handily, and just been a lot of dysfunction on the team. Like it's just I think the whole country is puzzled. Like even national media is puzzled by the Wizards because they have good players on paper, and they should be good, but they're so bad.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith made him a lead-off story on his show
the whole
one morning. John Wall thing. And then Stephen A. Smith had a nerve to come to D.C. want to sit down with John Wall. John Wall ignored him. You know, John Wall was a part of that. You know, talk about him like a dog. He's a party animal.
Yeah, I think he definitely took that to the next level, misrepresenting, because every player goes out and has fun. Like John Wall said, what do you expect him to do? Sit at home and twiddle his thumbs? Like that guy comes the ball when when the time has come. He's still probably the best player on your team. So you know, I get it, but at the same time, I could see Stephen A. He did make it a national thing now. Yeah. What we've been seeing in the Wizards now, the whole world is seeing that.
Yeah, we've been seeing that. There's was controversy with him and Bradley Beal that they weren't getting along for whatever reason, and Bradley said he wanted out of here. Of course, he tapered it down a little bit, but I don't think that's gonna work, man.
I think, like I said, my recent Wizards article also touched upon this. Like after 7 years, how long do you wait before you call it?
That's right.
This just isn't working. It's not even that there hasn't been results. I haven't even seen the progress. They haven't been to an Eastern Conference Finals in 7 years with this core. They in the weak Eastern Conference, a wide open Eastern Conference. I don't know what they're building towards at this point. If you're not gonna contend for a championship, you have this big payroll now. You're paying all this money to these players.
Tell us about them salaries.
I think they have two of the worst contracts on the books in the entire NBA. One of them is Otto Porter, who is a nice player. People think I hate Otto Porter. Yeah. Not talk about the contract, but he's a good guy. He's a good player, but he's got the highest salary on the team this year.
Wow.
This year, and I want to say off the top of my head, he's between the 14th highest player and paid salary in the NBA. Period. Wow. So Otto Porter's making max money. He's got $100 million max contract. And he's averaging 11 points a game right now, and he's not making a huge impact on the games. So that's my thing. Is I ain't mad at Otto. Get your money. Yeah. You and your agent, you did your thing. You did what you're supposed to do. But for the team, a team that has in a league with a salary cap, you take up that much money for Otto Porter. He's not making an impact on games. That's less money you have to put to other places to improve your team. And then the worst contract, I think, it may be in the entire NBA, Jan Mahimi. They gave a career backup center who has never been good $64 million over 4 years. And they're stuck with that contract. And the guy, they can't barely even put in the game to play minutes. He averages more fouls than points. So it's ridiculous that you got $64 million. You might as well could have just lit that on fire. Because that's a waste. Then you bring in Dwight, you bring in all these other people. But if you put $64 million for 4 years, that should be a starter. That should be a player you can rely on. That should be, so it's just, those little things will add up and really hurt your team. A big example I gave to that was Charlotte, similar to Otto Porter's contract. Charlotte gave Nicholas Batum $120 million a few years ago. A type of contract like that will really hurt your team and put you in the neutral because you're paying that person like a star, and they've got to play like a star. And Otto's just not playing like a star. So there are some trade rumors of the past couple of days. My sources have told me that Sacramento has made some strong offers for Otto. Otto didn't play last night for personal reasons.
What was that all about?
A lot of times I feel like that happens when a trade might be imminent. Yeah. So it was really odd and out of nowhere, and then those trade rumors have come up. So I think that's something to watch. Otto Porter to Sacramento, possibly. I think it would be a good deal for the Wizards they got to shake it up. They got to shake it up.
Well, we talking about shaking it up. Well, we got two salaries. Next year, I think John Wall will be making $38 million.
Yeah, he's getting a supermax contract.
Bradley Beal's in the 30s. And John Wall, nobody's going to trade for John Wall. Nobody's going to take that contract. You understand? And Bradley Beal is the best bet. I think
Yeah.
Bradley is a terrific player on both ends of the court, and I think that he may need a new environment.
Everybody's talking about Bradley Beal to the Lakers. Yeah.
Is that right?
That's a rumor that he would be a good fit with LeBron, and the Lakers have all those young assets that they're sitting on. So I think that's something to watch by the deadline. If the Wizards continue to play poorly, like they had a stretch like where they won like 4 of their last 6 games, but then they're right back to where they were last night, and they can't show any consistency. They'll win a game and make you think, well, maybe wait a minute. And I think that's been the problem of the franchise. They've had flashes where it has looked good. And I think it's given management way too much faith that this core can do it when they haven't consistently shown that they can.
Right.
There's just not enough consistency.
Yeah. We done skipped around the whole team now. What about the front office? What about the coach? What's your take on them?
The front office, I mean, like I said, the front office, questionable contracts for a lot of time. And then the culture, like I said, this was a broken culture before John Wall got here.
That's right.
7 years.
That's
like
right.
We're talking about Gilbert Arenas.
Yes.
We had guns in our locker room. Like it's
dysfunctional. And nobody knew. Where were the beat reporters?
Yeah.
They didn't know this.
Somebody knew.
Somebody knew, and they just weren't talking. But also, you got to look at Ernie Grunfeld, the general manager. You got to look at Randy Whitman. You got to look at Scott. You got to look at all of these folks.
Top down.
And the thing is that we found out that John Wall has been showing the coaches no respect whatsoever. He's been telling them to go F themselves, including Randy Whitman. Randy Whitman carried it to the front office of Grunfeld, and he did absolutely nothing. Now, he recently told Scott Brooks the same thing. Scott Brooks went to the front office and at least they fined him,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of dysfunctional going on there, and I'm having a problem with him because racism is still there. Racism is still at that press table. They don't think of all people, they should know I know. You understand? But they are a dysfunctional organization. I don't know what Ted Leonis is doing. I don't know the man personally. I just see him coming and going. But somebody, they got to shake up this franchise.
Yeah, definitely. It's a culture. It needs to be a culture change. They wanted it to be when John Wall got here and they started fresh, but obviously 7, 8 years later, it might not be as bad as guns in the locker room, but it's still dysfunctional. Clearly, like I got sources in the building as well that tell me there are players leaking all this stuff. There's some new players, maybe some players that have just got to this roster this year that are leaking some of this stuff. So and it's causing a lot of dysfunction.
That's right. I'm hearing it too. Yeah. I'm hearing it too, man. So they trying to cover up a lot of stuff. Now, the latest thing that we just saw on video was Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
It's been all over social media. Nobody in major media is talking about it. They have shut major media down. This guy, David Aldridge, he's supposed to be head of this new blog subscription thing called the Athletic. You understand? Michael Wilbon is hanging around. I mean, all of these Comcast, you mean tell me nobody knows when it's been all over social media about Dwight Howard and his problems? Evidently, whatever they are, they may be rumors or alleged, but people talk about it. You don't shut it down in the media. It's still a story. You understand?
Exactly.
Now, we just got through seeing a video of Dwight Howard in Houston, I think it was, sitting down on the bench, and as he's sitting down in civilian clothes, he grabs one of his teammates' crouch. That's on video.
Yeah. It's out there. Video. You can Google it. It's out
That's on there. It's good. You can Google it. Dwight Howard grabbing a teammate's crouch, man.
Yeah.
Now, this is a guy that they were talking about taking down to the youth center here in Washington, D.C. to talk to incarcerated kids. And, of course, I want to find out why wasn't I included in going down and being a part of this. You could tell me the public relations office is going to choose David Aldridge, somebody from the Washington Post, to tell a story. What do you think I'm here for? You know what I mean?
They want a safer.
They want a safe. I'm not safe. Yeah, they're not safe. These guys go spin the propaganda the way that they want to spin. That's why they got David Aldridge out there. David Aldridge, like I said today, and Michael Wilbon and James Brown, you can have them jump up on an egg and they'll never crack it. That's how safe they are.
Yeah,
and they know that.
That's why they're there.
That's why they're there. That's right. That's why they're there, man. So conveniently, Dwight Howard looked like he's gonna be out until February.
Yeah, he's got
What's happening to
surgery.
that?
Looks like he's having surgery on his sore glute muscle, or he's
Man, come on,
sore
please.
butt, man. Like it's the worst injury he could have at this time right now.
What that boy say? Come on, man.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot of and I understand some of the bigger places not wanting to comment because it's kind of like a gutter TMZ kind of rumor story,
tabloid,
tabloid mess. But at the same, and I don't even like talking about stuff like that. But well, you can't ignore that he was #1 trending on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it.
#1.
Somebody woke me up at 3 in the morning talking about, did you see this Dwight Howard stuff? Like, it's a story, so you can't pretend that it's not a story. That people aren't talking about it. Like, I understand it's rumors, it's hearsay, but it's still got to address it. And we still don't even know the circumstances behind his mysterious butt injury. So, at the same time, I think it would behoove him to at least come out and say something because everyone's going to use their imagination at this point.
This is one thing that you're not going to be able to sweep under the rug.
Yeah,
I don't care when he comes back. I don't care when he comes back. You got to sit down and have a press conference.
Yeah, you got to address it.
You got to address
Clear
it,
the air.
Yeah, you got to clear
because if you don't say anything, people's imaginations are worse.
Especially with that video out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran the video back in slow motion.
It's more videos and not as quite as bad as that, but it's other situations. Let's say it's Googleable. Like Dwight.
Woo.
Yeah, and the bigger thing for the Wizards is my thing is if you already have dysfunction in your locker room, why bring in players like Austin Rivers and Dwight Howard?
Yeah.
Who already have history of being dysfunctional, and you already know. You can't handle dysfunction in your locker room. It's already dysfunctional enough. So that was before this story came out, but it just speaks to that's just another headache for the Wizards that they don't need right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, all I can do is say stay tuned. But we're gonna stay on top of it. I'm gonna stay on top of it. I know Chris is gonna stay on top of it. He's more on top of things than I am because he's out there with the younger group. Hey, Chris, I want to talk about REID, who was a phenomenal defensive back, safety, all-pro. Of course, we know that he sat down and kneeled down with Colin Kaepernick and got blackballed. And of course, nobody picked him up. And especially, I was kind of disturbed that Doug Williams didn't say, "Hey, man, let's bring this man in here."
Yeah, especially when we needed safety help.
We needed safety. And if you think they didn't need a safety, all you do is watch the Dallas Cowboy game. And all you had to do was watch the Dallas Cowboy game, man. You thought that was Jerry Rice out there. You thought that was, I think it was boy Cooper. What's his name? Cooper?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper,
Who the Redskins could have traded for as well because we needed a wide receiver.
That's right.
Dallas paid the first-round pick, and sometimes you got to be aggressive. It shows you.
Well, what I'm disturbed about with REID, that Jacksonville brought him in.
Carolina.
I'm sorry, the Panthers brought him in. And he's been playing good football. And all of a sudden now, you get one drug test coming in, then they're random drug tests. This kid he's been targeted 5 times, 6 times, man. And this is what I call really targeting a guy, racism or whatever you want to call it. It's the league doing that. But where are his teammates? Where are his players? Why somebody else is standing up for him, Chris?
Same reason the more players didn't stand up for Kaepernick. I think it's just not enough unity. People are worried about their own checks. They're worried about their own well-being. They don't want to be in that same position where they'll be getting drug tested every week or they'll be getting cut or they'll be, so guys are looking out for their own well-being. I know they got families to feed and stuff like that, but no change is going to happen without enough unity of the players. If they're going against each other like the Eric Reid, Malcolm Jenkins, if people can't be unified in the direction that they're going, then the league will keep taking advantage of NFL players. I think I was talking to my friend about it the other day. Like he was not even a big sports person, but he's like, logically, I would think NFL players should get the most money and the most guaranteed money because it's the most dangerous of the major sports. You should get hazard pay, you could die on that field. So it's just indicative again of just larger problems. The NFL, I think, it just has a lot of larger systematic issues that are being brought to light because of the Kaepernick situation. And I think they underestimate it. Every time a team signs a garbage quarterback, that fan base is going to be like, well, we could have had Colin Kaepernick. And then it's going to bring up those questions of why can't we have Colin Kaepernick? Why is he out the league? Why do I have to subject ourselves to Mark Sanchez and stuff like that when there's a Super Bowl quarterback out there? And
the thing that disturbs me too is that how is it that there's no unity when this thing came down between Reid and Malcolm Jenkins, when the owners were going to put up something like $895 million that they could use in the community, and of course Malcolm Jenkins went on and had a telephone conference call to solidify this thing, but he didn't include Reid and several other players, and I think that's where it all started. That Malcolm Jenkins sold out.
Yeah, and Eric Reid broke it down very like detailed a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago of why. I think when they were playing the Eagles or whatever, but it was great. Yeah, it's just that like he basically co-opted their movement to get his own charity signed. Like I'm not saying that Malcolm Jenkins' charity is bad or they do bad work, but that is actually that's what he did. He took one cause and he swerved it to his cause and got the money. Not to say it's going to a bad thing, but he did sell out their movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were having protests, they weren't negotiating. He took it upon himself to represent a movement that he wasn't the head of,
right,
and make a decision for it because he's black. And the owners see him as, okay, he's black and a social activist, so they must all be the same. We're not all the same. We're not all on the same page. So just because you cut a deal with one black activist player for one thing, it's not addressing the whole issue. Is what the issue that was started upon at first. So. It was a shady deal, and like in that respect, I'm not saying Malcolm Jenkins is a sellout in every aspect, but in that respect, yes, he did. He sold out the movement, and that's just a fact. I'm like that is what it is.
Well, that reminds me of a situation back here in Washington D.C. You probably was too young to remember this, but Congressman Fauntroy and a bunch of activists were marching on the Washington Post because of the racist nature of the Washington Post magazine. They had no blacks in there. The advertising was going every way but to blacks. And so what happened, they got together and formed this group. And they would take that magazine on Sundays, gather thousands of magazines, take them down there and throw them on the front of the Washington Post. Kathy Hughes became a part of that movement. And the movement had the Washington Post, really backed up, man. They didn't know what to do. So instead of them following through, Kathy Hughes snuck up the back stairs of the Washington Post one night, made a deal with Katharine Graham and Donald Graham, and she was there, like Malcolm Jenkins, speaking for everybody. They had no idea that she was making this deal. After she made the deal, she was getting advertising for her radio station. Katharine Graham and them were coming on. And so that's the same kind of thing, man. They will find a weak link.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time.
Somebody's willing to cave.
Yes, but somebody really cave in. So what Malcolm Jenkins did is exactly what Kathy Hughes did to gain power for her radio empire that she has today. As we get out of here, one other thing I'm gonna tell you, man. This is you talking about the NFL, man, acting quickly. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and Hakeem Hunt. Tell us about that.
Well, it's just like I said, it's just a Ray Rice situation 2.0. I don't think his video was quite as bad.
Oh, no. Yeah. But he knocked out and then dragged off. That was really bad.
But it was similar in terms of like, it's just a video that it's only an issue because we've seen it.
Right.
Yeah, because like with TMZ leaked the video, and now because I guarantee if that video doesn't come out, there's no consequences for Kareem Hunt. Like
no consequences.
They don't want to suspend him or let him go. But now, like I said, they saw the way the Redskins got dragged through the national media for the Reuben Foster thing, and they don't want the headache. Yeah. Running backs are expendable in this league. Let's say if it was Patrick Mahomes, then maybe it would have been different. They would have did something different. But Kareem Hunt, great player, but running back, expendable.
There you get it.
And that's just what it is.
And I tell you, man, as I look around, man, and I see what is happening, man, with these black athletes, man, they don't realize what the great opportunities that they have in earning that cash and being able to help others, man. Yeah, it's ego tripping, man. It was the same ego trip that started with Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. It was ego because Gilbert was making like $16 million and Javaris was making like $1 million.
Bench warmer.
Yeah, it was a bench warmer. So even Gilbert said it wasn't about the money, it was about the egos. Yeah. And that's what we got running wild in pro sports right now. And that's what we don't have today's beat reporters that we can depend on to get the story to us because they shut them down. Say, I don't want you to say anything about this. That's what's happening. Do you think that this Dwight Howard video will show up on TMZ?
I mean, it would show up on maybe someone like TMZ, but not ESPN. You know,
Yeah, oh
not
yeah, yeah.
not see. You
But
know
I'm
what I
I'm
mean?
surprised about TMZ not even going after this thing, man, with Dwight
Oh, I'm
Howard.
sure they're probably, if there's something out there, I'm sure they're trying to get it.
Yeah, they're trying to get it.
TMZ's
Yeah.
always trying to get that juicy dirt, but
Uh-huh.
so they like I said, they don't care about the athletes. Obviously, they care about their own views on their page. They
Yeah.
so like I'm sure not too many people at TMZ are Chiefs fans right now, but
Yeah, that's right.
they're trying to
What,
get their money.
Chris, as we go out of here, what about, let's take a look at our president. Of course, you know, he jumps on everything. He jumped on the NFL. He'll jump on the NBA. Anything that where there's a black athlete, you know, there seems to be a problem. But you and I were discussing uh, about President Donald Trump. I knew him when he was on the boxing scene, and I was in and out of Atlantic City. I never saw those racist traits. And you have your own opinion how you think and how he's taking advantage of a situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think Donald Trump is racist objectively because of his policies and the things he said and done, but I think it's just, he's more of an opportunist, more of an opportunist. He's a con man. Like he knows that that racism feeds his base and the rabid base that votes for him and supports him. So like I don't even think like honestly Trump is that racist. I think he's maybe got like some old grandpa racism, like you know, just like the sign of a. But like I don't even think I don't think he maliciously hates black people or like stuff like that. I think Donald Trump is just he's an opportunist. He knows that being racist keeps him in power, and it keeps him being president. And it keeps those people supporting him. So Donald Trump is just he's a sleazy con man. That's all he is. Like he'll do anything. He has no morals. He has no positions. That's been proven. You can go back through the years. Like so, like I think people are a little too morally outraged because they think he's evil. And I was like, I mean, he's greedy more than evil. If you say greed is evil, yeah, but like he's just about profit and staying in power. He's not like a clan member, but he's supported by the clan members because he knows that's his support. So like that's just what it is. Like I said, you're talking about him supporting racist candidates outwardly, you know, like in
lady
Mississippi.
in Mississippi, yeah. She came out and said, you know, they had a hanging, a public hanging, that she would be on the front row. And even after she said that, our president went to Mississippi to support her, and she ended up beating SP.
Also, Ron DeSantis in their Florida governor race. He's openly racist. He said, "Don't monkey this up." He's the one who called his opponent, a black man, a monkey on national TV, and Trump supported him. So, like, because he knows Florida has a lot of racist people in it. I mean, let's keep it real. So, as Mississippi and Alabama and some of these places. So he's playing to his crowd. He's playing the hits. That's what he's got to do. The rallies, got to play the hits. The wall. You got to stir up fear and racism, and that's just a tool he uses to keep power and to try to make money. Like that's all it is. Trump is an extension of corporate greed and everything that's wrong. And when people say like they're mad at new Democrats and new progressives for trying to change the system doesn't work because the system that we have, playing nice and staying within the system, incrementalism, we ended up with Donald Trump. And I think if Donald Trump's the president, your system doesn't work, and it needs reform.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thanks so much for taking time out here to be on the Legend of Inside Sports. Tell the listeners where they can catch up with you on Black Men in America and exactly what you're doing there, because I've been reading you.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm back on it. Had a little hiatus, but I'm back on it. Like I said, Black Men in America. I'm doing anything covering the sports, Wizards, Redskins. I do entertainment articles every now and then, and also politics. I do political commentary, so you can catch me there on anything that's happening. I'll just try to keep up with the current events, and also got my rock band, the Cortland Experiment. We've got a show up on Rhode Island Avenue tomorrow. So
what's that date?
With what's it tomorrow, the 2nd? Yeah, it's December 2nd, Sunday, December 2nd. So anybody that follows the band, the page, it's you can DM me for the location. The entry will be free if you have a charitable item. So if you have a canned goods, old toys, clothes, you can bring those in and bypass the cover. Come see some dope music. It's going to be spoken word artists. There's going to be a lot of good stuff there. So just DM me or send it. Check out the band page. We're at Cortland Music on Instagram. We're the Cortland Experiment on Facebook. Check us out.
All right, and also you can catch me on my blog, the original Inside Sports blog or blackmeninamerica.blog, and read my commentaries and blogs, and of course on YouTube, the Legends of Inside Sports. I just want to say as we head out of here, we get ready to head into the new year, and we got to stay strong. We cannot show our weak side. You know, all this petty, uh, backbiting, player hating. That has to come in for our kids, not for us, for our young folks. That's what it's all about. Chris's daughter. That's what it's got to be about, the future for them. So I just want you to remember that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, I'm Harold Bell with Chris Johnson. You can color me gone.